All right, my amazing kindergartners, I am going to show you guys a couple different techniques for painting watercolor flowers. You're going to paint them with me, and when we are done, you can paint a flower explosion. You can paint as many flowers as you can fit on this paper, making sure we preserve some negative space where there's nothing painted. Any color you want, any style you want, we're just going to have a flower explosion on this paper. Are you ready? So first, I'm going to start this one with a yellow dot in the middle. Wash my brush off, tap, 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 swirl, swirl, tap, 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 swirl, swirl. Now I'm gonna pick whichever color I want this flower to be. I'm gonna choose purple. And I'm going to start right next to that yellow dot, but not touching it. And I'm gonna put my paintbrush down and then drag it away. I'm gonna do that all the way around the flower. Almost touching that yellow dot, put my paintbrush down and drag it away. All the way around the flower. If it has these jagged edges at the end, I think that's lovely because most flower petals are not perfectly round at the edge. They have these fun little jagged edges on them. So that's one way to paint a flower. Go ahead and try that one first. Okay, for your second flower, we're going to do a little bit more of an abstract flower. You're going to start with any color you want in the middle. You're going to do your little circle. I'm going to wash my brush out, tap, 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 swirl, swirl, tap, 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 swirl, swirl. I'm going to pick my next color, and I want it to be something really different than that one. Oops. So I'm going to pick orange. And then I'm going to just make a circle around the outside of the blue circle. Then I'm going to do it again. Tap, 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 swirl, swirl. Tap, 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 swirl, swirl. Pick another color that's pretty different than what you've already got. I'm going to choose purple. And I'm going to make another circle around my first circle. All done? Awesome. Tap, 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 swirl, swirl. You can make these flowers as big as you want or as little as you want. Maybe around the outside, I might do even a wavy circle. I don't think I like the wavy circle. I'm going to go back in and make it nice and thick. And sometimes you'll notice that my colors touch. Sometimes they have white in the middle, sometimes they touch. Are both okay? Absolutely. Okay, I want you guys to try one or two of those circle flowers. All right, next flower. This one is a tulip, and they are kind of fun. You are going to start by painting. You can choose any color, really except green, because that's not really a flower color. We're going to make a U with our paintbrush. And then we're going to make a diagonal line down, so it fills in like a triangle. And a diagonal line down. And then I'm going to put another little triangle up here. Boop. Now, if I want to, I can take another color. Let me tap, 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 swirl, swirl, tap, 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 swirl, swirl. And I can just kind of re-outline that. And if it's still wet, it's going to make some really fun little patterns in there. Try a couple tulip flowers. Okay, now you guys are going to fill your entire paper with as many different colors, flowers as you want. Any color, any pattern, anything you make up. Doesn't matter, any style you want, you're just going to fill this paper with flowers. Make sure you leave some white spaces behind. All right, once you've got as many flowers on there as you can, we are going to use oil pastels, green, you can use both different greens if you'd like, to put some stems and leaves on these. And this is a wild garden. They're not all going from the same direction. So if some of your stems go this way and some of them go the other way, it doesn't really matter. But if this flower's stem is going this way and it goes to another flower, it has to stop and go behind it. I'm not going to draw through the other flower. I'm going to make sure it goes behind and stops. I might ask you guys to use both grains on each of your stems to make sure your lines are thick and have some value there. You're going to add leaves. Remember, we don't want to fill up all of our negative space. We want to make sure some of that still exists. But you're going to go ahead and make sure every one of your flowers has a stem that makes it, even if it has to go behind other flowers, all the way to the edge of the page. Okay. Have fun finishing up your flower explosion. Make sure your name is on it, and it's going to go on the drying rack before you guys move on.